Hello guys, welcome back to Dear Dev. In this video, we are going to be figuring out all what makes Python. Basically, when we figure this out, all the other things we learn will be building on what we are going to be discussing in this video. As discussed before, our computers are literal. They take our information literally, so we need to be very clear and specific. Also, we need our terminal. We need to understand how it works. So I'm sure that you have gone through and understood how your terminal works. And I believe that you have also installed your Python program to run your Python codes and gotten your VS Code so that we can see our folder structure, see our code, and see our terminal at the same time. But you are not lost if you don't want to use VS Code. So the last time we printed Dear Dev. What does print do? Print, as we saw, gives us whatever is within those parentheses in our console. I call it console, and it's also called the terminal. So in the console or terminal, you see whatever you have put in those parentheses. So if I also come down here and say print, hola, if you are not using VS Code, that means you have to run your terminal and also your code editor. So we'll go to our terminal, we'll check our current working directory. So you print working directory to see where you are. This tells me that I'm in home/hola. That means that is not where I want to work from. My hello.py file is in documents/python code. So that's where I'm going to go to. So I'm going to do my change directory to documents/python code. So that's where I want to be, and that's where I am right now. To be sure I'm there, I do my ls to see whether my hello.py file is there. And it shows me my hello.py file and a new code directory that has been created. So now I can run my files by saying Python, I'm using version 3, hello.py to get what I want. So while we run our codes in our VS Code, you have to go out of your code editor into your terminal to also run the same code. So with this, you can work on with us while we are in VS Code. As discussed, when you want to run your Python code, you call Python on the file. So you would say Python. I am using version 3 of Python. That's why I say Python 3 hello.py. It gives me hello dear dev, and it gives me hola. When Python is running your code, it goes from the top and runs it downward. So that's why the first thing you see is hello dear dev, and then the second thing you see is hola. I am printing those things to the terminal. I'm printing them to the console. We also have things called variables. A variable stores data. I want to create a variable called name to store my name. I would say name equal my name is hola. I have created my variable. When I ask Python to print that variable, it will give me the content of the variable. When I say print name, that's the variable that I created. And I come to Python and I say Python. It still prints hola. Note that I did not write name in quotes because name is a variable. Name is not what I want to print. It's just something that is holding what I actually want to print. So name is just the container. So I cannot put the container inside quotes. As soon as I put inside quotes, it stops being a container. It becomes what I'm actually trying to print. So let's see that out. It's no longer a variable this way. Name. So if I am trying to call on the variable, then I'm not going to be using the quotes. I'm going to be using the variable directly. I want to store on that variable called age. I want it to print my name and my age. So I say print name is age. I am able to use my variables inside quotes when I use F in front of the quotes. So what the F does is take the things inside the curly brackets and convert them to their actual values. So when I say name is age years old, see what I get. Ola is 9 years old. Variables, they store data for us. There are different types of data that our variables can store for us. The data age is an integer. The data name is a string. It stores text. The integer stores number. So we call that int and we call the name string. If I have a list of things, let me say hobbies. This is actually called list in Python. Some other languages call it array. As soon as we use the square brackets, we are talking about lists. It keeps a list of things. So you have, say, movie, reading, baking. So we have a variable with a data of string. We have a different variable with a data type of integer, or we also have a variable hobbies with a data type of lists. We will go more into data types because we are discussing the basics right now. I deleted some things earlier. When we don't want Python to run a particular code, we comment it out by using the pound sign. As soon as Python sees a pound sign, what it understands is that it needs to ignore those things. So now I have my pound sign in front of print hello world. By the time we come here, it's not going to print it because I have the pound sign in front of it. Let's run our code again. It's still saying Ola is 9 years old. Don't forget that name, age, and hobbies are variables. We did not ask Python to print them. That is why they are not in our terminal. So when we just define variables, they sit there. Until we tell Python to do something with them, the variable sits there. When I comment out the second print statement and we come back and run hello.py, we don't get anything because we didn't ask Python to print it. What we asked to be printed has been commented out. So as soon as you comment something else, you are telling the program to ignore it. Normally, when you don't want to use a piece of code anymore, you just delete it. You don't need to comment it out. But comments are used to explain your code. Like you're saying, oh, variables to collect user information. If I write this comment at the beginning of my code, I have said that these variables are collecting user information. If I come to this code 6 months from now and I don't have a comment, there's a likelihood I will not remember why I wrote those things. But the comment reminds me that, oh, this is the reason why I wrote those lines of codes there. So comments help you, future you, and other users that want to use your code understand why you wrote what you wrote. Normally, when you are creating variable names, you don't just write x equal to Ola. What does x mean? When you use x is equal to Ola, your comment becomes very important because it explains what x means. So when you use name, you have very little use of comments because people can already see name. When you give your variable explicit names, you really need to use your comments to explain your code. When I say x equal to Ola and I come here and also use x, it gives me the same response because I've said x is also equal to Ola. Let's run the code. Ola is 9 years old because x is equal to Ola. But don't use x. Use variable names that explain what data you are trying to store. So I use name here because I'm actually trying to collect name. And I also use age because I wanted to collect age. Then I used hobbies because I wanted to collect hobby information. Use variable names that are clear. Another thing we need to quickly understand is loop. I want to print my name 9 times. I say print name, print name. Oh Christ, I'm tired already. Let me just copy and paste it. I'm printing my name and I run hello.py. It prints Ola 9 times. But did you know from writing those lines, I am already exhausted. Here comes the power of loop. We have different type of loops, but I'm going to be showing you our for loop. So instead of writing print name 1 million times, I could have just used my loop to say, based on this number of times I've given to you, in this case it is age, please print out the name. So for loop helps us handle repetition. We don't need to repeat, keep writing and keep typing or keep redoing something. With our loop, we can handle that. So when I say for I in range is talking about some numbers between the starting number and the ending number excluded. So the start number is 0. I said start from 0 and count till you get to age. In this case, age is 9. So count from 0 till 9. And as you count, print name. So let's see whether it's going to do that for us. Do I have 9 names? It's 9. I didn't have to type one after the other. Loop handles that. Another thing we need to also understand are conditions. Conditions like, if it rains, take an umbrella. If you are going to school, turn left. If you are going to work, turn right. Those are conditions. So we want to write our condition in Python and we use our if statement. If age is greater than 9, print welcome. That's a condition. We could have another condition. If you are not up to 9, if you are not older than 9, do something else. So we come here and say else. That's our condition. If age is greater than 9, print welcome. Else, print young. Is a condition. As I told you, Python is more like English. And this is reading English. If age is greater than 9, print this. Else, print that. It's English. So to say. So let's see if Python is going to give me the correct answer based on my age. It sends me too young. Why? I said if age is greater than 9, I am 9 years old. In quotes. So if Ola is 9 years old, that means Ola is too young based on the code you have written. So you need to be very, very clear. If you actually wanted Ola to enter because Ola is 9 years old, then you should be asking for if age is greater than 8. Or you could say if age is greater than or equal to 9. Greater than or equal to 9. Then you print welcome. So based on that slight change of greater than or equal to, what does it tell me? It says welcome because I met the condition. As I have told you, the computer is literal. It's not going to figure out what you thought in your mind. Now, it allows Ola in because we say if the age is greater than or equal to 9. One thing you should have noticed is that as soon as you use the colon, the next line of code shifts to the right. That's indentation. It is very important for Python. When you don't indent or you don't indent properly, Python screams. So many times, that's where people make a lot of mistakes. That's where people get confused. I've written it out as I'm supposed to write it. It's still not working. There's a likelihood as a beginner that the problem you're having is indentation problem. As soon as you use your colon, you move to the right. 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you use your 4 spaces, you move to the right. And then you continue writing your code. When you are done with the condition you want to fulfill, according to what I have here, if age is greater than or equal to 9, print welcome. That's all I want to happen if age is greater than or equal to 9. As soon as I have said all that I want to do, then I go back to the left, which I've done here in my else statement. I went back and my line continued where if also started. Let's assume I want to say, welcome, good to see you, have a nice day. It will all be indented because everything is referring to if age is greater than or equal to 9. And I run it. Welcome, nice to have you, then the Ola in our range. As I have mentioned, as soon as you use your colon, you need to indent. You need to shift to the right. So that's the same thing that happened here. As soon as I wrote colon, my print moved to the right. When you don't follow that, you are going to have indentation error. It says file, home Ola document, Python code hello.py, line 15. Look at line 15. It's telling you where the problem is. What did it say? It said indentation error. Expected an indented block after for statements on line 14. You have a for statement, but you did not indent. So, as you can see, even my IDE is telling me that there's something wrong with my code by highlighting it in this red. That is an extension in VS Code. So sometimes when we make mistakes, these extensions help us figure these things out without wasting time. So that is one of the reasons I'm saying use an IDE, because you can use extensions that make life easy. But I won't talk about extensions now. Let us understand the code first. Also, I use an extension to ensure my indentation is always 4 spaces without having to click 1, 2, 3, 4. So as soon as I figure out the indentation, the highlight leaves, and then I don't have an indentation error anymore. So indentation is a big deal when it comes to Python. You need to make sure that every time you write a statement, like your for statement or your if statement, what comes after it has to be indented. Another thing we'll mostly be using in Python are functions. We are going to be using classes, but we are going to be discussing that in other videos. Right now, I want to discuss functions. I want to always add every 2 numbers that I'm given. When I want to add numbers, I come to my code and I say print 2 plus 2. When I run it, I get 4 right at the bottom here. Since we are not using all these other parts of our code, let's comment them out. 2 plus 2 is 4. I want to print 2 plus 2, but I also want to get 2 times 2. I still get 4 and 4. Then I want to do the same thing for 3. Then I say print 3 plus 3. And I print 3 times 3. It gives me my numbers. It's beginning to look as if I keep having to print and multiply in some particular numbers. When you have to do that, it's better for you to create a function. Functions are recipes that you write and you keep them. Whenever you want to use them, you go back, pick the recipe. So in case of Python, when we write the recipe, we leave it there, and every time we want to use it, we just ask Python, oh, run that recipe I gave you. And then it runs the recipe and gives us the answers we want. Let me assume that we want to double and square a list of numbers from, say, 1 to 10. Just write your function to do that. Python function uses def to define your function. I want my function to print, double, and square. As I said, use names that are very clear, and then I'm giving it a number. That's how we define our function. You say def, the name of your function, and whatever you want your function to handle. In this case, I want to be giving my function number. And every time I give it a number, I want it to double it, and I also want it to square it. So I print number plus number, and we print number times number. That's all I want my function to do. Every time I give you a number, double it and square it. Since I have done this, I don't need to keep writing print. All I need to do is to call my function. I've created the function, then I'm calling it. So I say print double or square, and I give it a number 2. I run it, it gives me 4. I come back again. I don't need to rewrite my function. I just change the number inside and give it 9 double square. It gives me 18 and 81. I don't have to rewrite print. The function is a recipe that our program can always run. So when you understand your variables, that they store information, and there are different kind of data that the variables store, we also need to understand that we can comment out codes or phrases that we don't want our program to run. We also know that we can create conditions telling our code that if something happens, do this, and if something else happens, do something else. We also know that we can create functions that are recipes that our program can run from time to time. That's all you need to understand, and you are now a coder using Python. Is this not beautiful? There's no maths involved. You are asking Python to do the plus and the multiplication for you. You are not the one figuring out in your head. So there's no maths, and you can do this. So don't forget that when you define your function and it's going to be accepting variables, arguments. You need to write the arguments. Don't forget the argument is a variable. There's nothing called number. So when you put your 9 here, number immediately becomes 9. So when you want to call your function and your function expects arguments, you need to put those arguments inside. If not, it's not going to work. It will be asking for the number. Let's see that. I have called hello.py without an argument and see what it says. It said missing one required position argument. Basically, when you defined it, you have said function, I'm going to be giving you a number. Every time I give it a number, print the doubled number and print the number squared. But I did not give it any number to print. So it's asking for that number. So when you write a function that's going to be taking an argument, when you call the function, which is what we are doing on line 27, you need to put the argument that you want it to run with. So if you want to do without a number, if you don't want to use an argument to call your function, then don't create your function with an argument. In as much as you think that your function does not require an argument, then you don't need to put it there. But if you create your function with an argument, you want it to perform some miracles on some things. When you call the function, you have to provide it with what the argument is supposed to be. That, okay, I said you should print number. Give it that number that you want it to double or you want it to square. So guys, I want you to write a function that prints the square of a number from 0 to the given number. So that when you call your function with the number 4, you get a print of 0, 1, 4, 9, and 16. Write such function and paste it in the comment section below. Let's see if you are coming along with our coding process. Don't forget to like and share so that other people can learn from this video series. And please click the subscribe button so that every time I drop the next videos on learning Python, you get notified and then you can follow us along as we figure out Python and coding together. I'm looking forward to see you some other time. Don't forget, I want to see your function. If you don't write the code, you can't remember it. You learn the coding by applying it. So write the function and drop it in the comment section below. See you next time. Bye-bye.